Let's do this. Today we're dueling the AI in War Thunder. Let me know what else you would like to see in the comments. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for free lessons from a qualified ground instructor, and support the channel by checking the links down in the description. Fights on! We're battling the AI again, so we can't do the merge thing. He takes the first shots and I turn left to try to get on his tail. At this point, we're both pulling back hard on the stick, trying to tighten our turns and get the advantage. I'm able to get on him after a few moments and try to maneuver for a shot. He dives and I follow. Diving at such an aggressive angle can cause a couple of problems. First, we're trading our potential energy for a ton of kinetic energy. The longer we dive, the more we accelerate. And at a certain point, it is possible that the controls will become difficult to manipulate at all. Any maneuvering past the airplane's never exceed speed can cause significant structural damage and G-lock, or G-induced loss of consciousness. I try for a couple of unguided rocket shots but miss them all and go in for guns. Bingo, Jester's dead. As I'm waiting for the next bad guy to spawn, I'm looking around trying to maintain good situational awareness. SA is important not just for fighter pilots but for general aviation pilots as well. You need to keep your head on a swivel, stay ahead of the aircraft, and anticipate what other aircraft in the airspace are going to do next. You should be trimming for hands-off flight so you can tend to other important aspects of aviation. Radio frequencies, vectors, and traffic alerts are only some of the things we need to keep in mind as GA pilots. Here, the AI has spawned, but I haven't spotted him yet. A good pilot would be gaining altitude to put energy in the bank, but I forget to do that and put myself in a weak position. I think at this point, I rocked my wings to mark a synchronization point for the camera angles, and as I'm flying around, the AI tries to come in on my 6 and hose me with an early burst. As I'm turning back to engage him, he nails me with a couple of bullets, then goes vertical to try for an altitude advantage. I miss my first shots and follow him into a dive where I'm able to get on his tail and stick with him for a bit. Something all pilots need to keep an eye out for is hypoxia. A hypoxia is when your brain is not receiving enough oxygen to function correctly. Most of us need our brains for typical day-to-day functions, not to mention the intense requirements for manned flight. The FAA requires that all occupants of an aircraft be provided with supplemental oxygen above 15,000 feet because of the reduced oxygen at higher altitudes. Symptoms to watch out for include euphoria, reduced cognitive function, loss of consciousness, and cyanosis, or the bluing of the lips and fingertips. If you notice these in you or your passengers, get some supplemental oxygen and descend to a lower altitude. AI number 3 spawned in a chunky 3-seat bomber-looking thing. His tail gunner managed to get a couple of rounds into me after the initial pass, but I'm able to keep the aircraft flying. Notice that I'm trailing black smoke. If we were to look inside the cockpit, we might see reduced oil pressure, increased oil temperature, and increased engine temperature. Oil is used to lubricate and cool the engine, so operating for long periods of time in this state might eventually lead to permanent engine damage. If this were a real aircraft, we would want to land as soon as possible and get it serviced by a mechanic. If you're interested in becoming an aircraft mechanic, check the links in the description for tips on how to get started. The AI scored a few hits and his tail gunner follows up with a few more after the pass, but it seems like the AI really likes to climb and present an easy target against the blue sky. After a few moments, I'm able to reverse on him and take him out with a few well-placed shots. At this point, I thought the match was won and turned on my airshow smoke to celebrate the victory. AI number 4 spawned on my tail and is looking to get an easy kill. I feel like the Jaws thing would be appropriate here. But once I realize I'm being targeted, I invert and do a split S. I come back on the bad guy and hose him with a quick burst. Alright, knock it off. Hit the comments for feedback, check out the links in the description to get your gear, and if you want free ground school lessons, hit that subscribe button to fly in my wing. Thanks for watching. See ya!